Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're listening to the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any selection using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Employee relations in discourse analysis. Interactive assistant-employee relations refers to the management and communication of relationships between an organization and its employees. It encompasses formal and informal communication, conflict resolution, feedback processes, and overall employee engagement. In discourse analysis, employee relations are studied to understand how language reflects and shapes the interactions between management and employees, how workplace culture is maintained, and how power dynamics are negotiated. Discourse analysis of employee relations focuses on how language is used to create or challenge organizational hierarchies, manage conflict, motivate employees, and build trust. By examining communication practices such as emails, performance reviews, team meetings, and company-wide announcements, discourse analysis reveals the implicit norms, values, and power relations that influence workplace behavior and employee engagement. The way leaders and employees communicate has a significant impact on the overall organizational climate and the effectiveness of employee relations. Key features of employee relations in discourse analysis. 1. Power dynamics and hierarchy. A central feature of employee relations is the power dynamics between managers and employees. Discourse analysis examines how language is used to assert authority, give directives, and reinforce the hierarchical structure of the organization. It also looks at how employees respond to or resist these dynamics. Example: a manager might say, "I expect the report by the end of the day," using directive language to assert authority. Discourse analysis would explore how the language reflects the manager's position of power and how employees respond, whether by complying, asking for clarification, or pushing back. 2. Politeness strategies and professional tone. Politeness strategies play a crucial role in employee relations, particularly in hierarchical structures where maintaining professionalism is essential. Discourse analysis investigates how politeness is used to navigate authority, maintain positive relationships, and avoid conflict. Example: an employee might write in an email, "If you have time, I would appreciate your feedback on this draft," using polite, indirect language to request a manager's input. Discourse analysis would examine how politeness softens the request, reflecting the employee's awareness of the power dynamic and the need to maintain professional decorum. 3. Conflict and conflict resolution. Workplace conflicts are an inevitable aspect of employee relations, and how these conflicts are addressed in communication is a key area of discourse analysis. It involves looking at how disagreements are framed, how resolution is sought, and how power is negotiated through language. Example: during a disagreement over project direction, an employee might say, "I understand your concerns, but I believe we should explore this alternative," attempting to balance conflict with professionalism. Discourse analysis would explore how language is used to mitigate conflict, frame the issue diplomatically, and negotiate a compromise. 4. Feedback and performance reviews. Feedback is a central part of employee relations, especially in the context of performance reviews. Discourse analysis examines how feedback is delivered, whether constructive or critical, and how language is used to motivate, criticize, or guide employees. Example: a manager might say in a performance review, "You've made great progress, but there are still areas where I'd like to see improvement, particularly in meeting deadlines," combining praise with constructive criticism. Discourse analysis would focus on how the balance of positive and negative feedback is managed, and how this language motivates employees while addressing areas of concern. 5. Motivational language and employee engagement. The use of motivational language in internal communication, such as speeches, emails, or team meetings, reflects how organizations seek to boost employee engagement and morale. Discourse analysis looks at how language is used to inspire, encourage, and reinforce organizational goals and values. Example: in an all-staff meeting, a CEO might say, "Our success depends on each and every one of you. Together, we can continue to break new ground," using inclusive and motivational language to foster a sense of unity and shared purpose. Discourse analysis would explore how the language constructs a narrative of collective effort and organizational success. 6. Workplace culture and identity construction. The way employees communicate reflects the broader workplace culture and influences how employees construct their professional identities. Discourse analysis investigates how language contributes to the creation of this culture, as well as how employees use language to align with or resist organizational norms and expectations. Example: employees in a startup might frequently use language like, "We're disrupting the industry," or "We move fast," reflecting a culture of innovation and agility. Discourse analysis would examine how such language shapes employee identity, making them feel part of a dynamic, fast-paced environment, while also subtly reinforcing organizational expectations of high performance. 7. Employee well-being and work-life balance. Employee relations often involve discussions around work-life balance and employee well-being. Discourse analysis looks at how these topics are framed in organizational communication and how the language used reflects management's commitment to or disregard for employee welfare. Example: a company memo might state, "We encourage all employees to take time off and recharge to maintain a healthy work-life balance," signaling a commitment to well-being. Discourse analysis would investigate how the language promotes or downplays the importance of employee health, and whether it aligns with the actual practices within the organization. Methods for analyzing employee relations in discourse. 1. Critical discourse analysis, CDA. Critical discourse analysis, CDA, is used to examine how power, hierarchy, and ideology are embedded in the language of employee relations. CDA focuses on how language reinforces managerial authority and how it reflects broader organizational structures and societal norms. Example: a CDA of corporate emails might reveal how managers consistently use authoritative language to assert control over employees, while employees use more deferential language. The analysis would focus on how these patterns reflect power imbalances and contribute to the maintenance of hierarchical workplace structures. 2. Conversation analysis. Conversation analysis examines the structure of workplace interactions, such as meetings, interviews, and everyday conversations between employees and managers. This method focuses on turn-taking, interruptions, and how participants negotiate their roles through communication. Example: in a team meeting, conversation analysis might look at how managers dominate the discussion, interrupt employees, or steer the conversation. The analysis would explore how these interaction patterns reflect power dynamics and influence decision-making processes within the organization. 3. Frame analysis. Frame analysis investigates how specific issues or relationships are framed within workplace communication. This method focuses on how language constructs particular interpretations of situations, such as conflicts, employee performance, or organizational goals. Example: in a performance review, a manager might frame feedback as an opportunity for growth and development, rather than as criticism. Frame analysis would explore how the manager uses language to frame the feedback in a positive light, influencing how the employee perceives the evaluation. 4. Politeness theory. Politeness theory focuses on how politeness strategies are used to manage relationships in the workplace. This method examines how employees and managers use language to show respect, maintain professional boundaries, and mitigate potential conflict. Example: an employee might use indirect language, such as, "I was wondering if it would be possible to get an extension on the deadline," to make a request without appearing too demanding. Politeness theory would explore how the employee's choice of language reflects a desire to maintain a positive relationship with their manager. Examples of employee relations in discourse analysis. Example 1. Feedback and motivation in performance reviews. A manager might say during a performance review, "You've been doing a fantastic job with client relations, but I'd like to see more consistency in meeting project deadlines," combining praise with a constructive suggestion. Discourse analysis would explore how this language balances positive reinforcement with critical feedback, aiming to motivate the employee without undermining their confidence. Example 2. Conflict management in team meetings. During a disagreement in a team meeting, one employee might say, "I see where you're coming from, but I think we should consider another approach," framing their opposition in a way that seeks to maintain harmony while presenting an alternative viewpoint. Discourse analysis would focus on how the employee manages conflict through language and how the team negotiates power and decision-making through the conversation. Example 3. Directive language in corporate emails. A manager might send an email stating, "Please ensure that all reports are submitted by the close of business on Friday," using directive language to assert authority while maintaining a professional tone. Discourse analysis would investigate how the language reflects hierarchical structures and how employees respond to these directives. Example 4. Motivational language in corporate speeches. In a company-wide speech, a CEO might say, "This company's success is built on the dedication and hard work of each of you. Together, we're creating something truly exceptional," using inclusive and motivational language to foster a sense of shared purpose. Discourse analysis would examine how this language inspires employees and builds a collective identity, reinforcing the organization's values. Example 5. Employee well-being and work-life balance in HR policies. A human resources policy might state, "We offer flexible working hours to help you maintain a healthy balance between work and personal life, promoting work-life balance." Discourse analysis would explore how the language reflects the company's commitment to employee well-being and how this message is communicated to support a positive relationship between employees and management. Challenges in analyzing employee relations through discourse. 1. Power imbalances. Employee relations often involve significant power imbalances between management and employees, which can make certain communication patterns difficult to analyze without recognizing the influence of authority. Discourse analysts must be sensitive to how these imbalances shape interactions and responses. 2. Implicit norms. Many aspects of employee relations are governed by implicit norms, such as unspoken expectations or cultural practices. Discourse analysts need to uncover these implicit aspects of communication, which may not be immediately visible in formal interactions but can influence employee behavior and organizational dynamics. 3. Multimodal communication. In modern workplaces, communication happens through multiple channels, such as face-to-face interactions, emails, video calls, and instant messaging. Discourse analysts must consider how these different modes of communication interact to shape employee relations and organizational culture. Conclusion. Employee relations play a critical role in shaping organizational culture, productivity, and employee engagement. Through discourse analysis, researchers can explore how language reflects and influences power dynamics, conflict resolution, motivation, and professional identity in the workplace. Whether analyzing feedback processes, conflict management, or motivational language, discourse analysis uncovers the ways in which language shapes relationships between management and employees, reinforcing or challenging organizational hierarchies and values. By understanding the role of communication in employee relations, organizations can foster better working environments, enhance employee satisfaction, and improve overall organizational effectiveness. Frequently asked questions. What is the focus of discourse analysis in employee relations? Discourse analysis in employee relations examines how language is used to manage and reflect the relationships between management and employees. This includes analyzing how communication shapes workplace culture, power dynamics, conflict resolution, and employee engagement. How does language reveal power dynamics in the workplace? Language often reflects power dynamics through directive statements, hierarchical language, and politeness strategies. For instance, managers may use commands like, "Ensure this report is done by today," asserting their authority, while employees may respond with more deferential language. Why are politeness strategies significant in employee relations? Politeness strategies help maintain professionalism, manage authority, and reduce conflict. Discourse analysis shows how polite requests, such as, "Would you mind reviewing this draft?" soften the power imbalance and maintain positive relationships. How is conflict addressed in workplace discourse? Conflicts are navigated using language that balances assertiveness and diplomacy. For example, phrases like, "I understand your point, but," demonstrate an attempt to mitigate disagreement while proposing an alternative. Discourse analysis looks at how these linguistic choices frame conflict and seek resolution. What role does feedback play in employee relations? Feedback, especially in performance reviews, mixes praise and critique to motivate and guide employees. A statement like, "Great job on client relations," but improve your deadlines, uses positive reinforcement paired with constructive criticism. Discourse analysis reveals how this impacts motivation and employee perception. How do organizations use motivational language? Organizations use motivational language to foster engagement and unity. Phrases like, "We're all part of this journey together," create a collective identity and inspire employees. Discourse analysis examines how such language strengthens workplace morale and aligns with company values. What linguistic patterns reflect workplace culture? Workplace culture is evident in language through repeated phrases, shared jargon, and communication styles. For instance, in a startup, terms like pivot or innovate quickly signal a culture of agility and risk-taking. Discourse analysis uncovers how these patterns reflect and perpetuate the company's identity. How is employee well-being addressed through language? Companies may emphasize work-life balance through communications like, "We encourage taking breaks for well-being." Discourse analysis explores whether such language is consistent with actual practices and how it contributes to the employee-employer relationship. What methods are used to analyze employee relations discourse? Critical discourse analysis, CDA, examines how power and hierarchy are embedded in communication. Conversation analysis studies turn-taking and control in dialogues. Frame analysis investigates how issues are framed, such as framing feedback as growth opportunities. Politeness theory looks at how language is used to maintain respect and navigate authority. Can discourse analysis help improve employee relations? Yes. Understanding how language shapes workplace interactions can help organizations improve communication strategies, making them more inclusive, motivating, and effective at managing power dynamics and conflict.